Hi Ellie, how are you? Let's take a look at your channel. I already read through some of the comments the other members left here, and I agree with them in some degree. And you mentioned about that, yeah, maybe draw it loosely would be the way to go, and I have agreed with that. And let's talk about with this a couple pieces. Take a look over here in this statue. And actually looks is pretty good. You almost like a draw it like a real human instead of a statue. There's lots of informations inside the face and the arm, those things. So you spend quite a bit of time into all those connection inside over here. This looks pretty good with that. And let's take a look at the second one. There's the sleeping boy putting the thumb into the mouth. And both pieces, I can see that the facial structure, you spend quite a bit of time into it, and also the hands, and those are, and the rest is a little rough. So that looks good, but however, something you are missing. I would like you to take this to be your next challenge. I want you to focus more on the global relationship before you get into the smaller one. Like, for example, just look at this drawing. I cannot really tell, and pay maybe unless you're the people that you know, that the people knows this boy. Otherwise, they would not really know what's the skin color. Right? So looking at this, it could be a pretty dark skin color. So that it come to my point is you got to making sure the skin color, I mean, let's say the local colors correctly by using the global relationship. Let's take a look at in this one. I'm going to take a look at over here. So the first thing, I'm going to draw a little bit smaller. So let's see, probably use the wrong brush. Here you go. And take a look here and should be used the same brush. That's good. Smudge. Also going to use the same. That's good. All right, let's continue. The first thing I would like you to start thinking about, that's the global relationship. For example, if you want to draw the head in this location, draw loosely. I totally agree with you. And the next thing, think about the composition like that. Uh, so this is very big. I always say that is a global. Need to be think about a little bit bigger, the biggest possible. Like I say, how you divide the space like that, right? Just think about this is pretty loose. That's good, like that, and then have some rock over here. Now, what next you're gonna do before you coming in to correct the inside over here, and before you correct it, I want you to think about the global. So, for example, I really want the people feel this statues is pretty light. It's a light gray color. In that case, you need the outside to make it feel is a light material. Is that right? So, is make lots of sense. Okay, like this, like that. And then I'm gonna also use the contrast and maybe have it a little bit lower, like that. So if you want to introduce the color, let's have the little green color like that. That's fine, right? So I'm gonna still think about the value and the color. So that, here we go. a little bit over here, like that. Now I'm gonna have a little gray color onto. So I'm gonna pick the light gray color, the same thing that if you do it with charcoal, just gray, light gray color, like right over here. Now, after I put the light gray color over onto this statue, because I already use the outside to create a comparison, so that even I have the gray color over here, it still look like pretty light materials, like this, and a little bit darker over here, like that. So this is the biggest contrast. We need to nail it first. Now I'm gonna have a little bit darker, like that, and coming over here and look a little bit smaller now. Get a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller. So this is how we look at and to produce a loose style by focusing on the biggest relationship. Now you get smaller and smaller and see that the shape over here like that, and divide it into smaller and smaller. And here you go. I think you got my point. And just need to focus on the big. I'm going to take this color. And otherwise, you cannot show the material. Okay, now I'm going to divide that in here and so on gradually. And now you can get the really composition and get the relationship correctly, right? So this is very important. By looking over here, I cannot really tell what is the material color, but using the background, using the global connection, so you can convey the first important information. What is the local color for the main object, right? Let's take a look at on this, and let's save that. And I'm gonna open it, and here you go. Let's take a look. I'm going to have, I'm gonna add a photo. So here you go. Now let's see what we can do. I'm gonna have a new layer on top of that. Let's see. Now this color looks pretty dark because this is almost the darkest local colors on the same page. So let's see, I'm going to make the outside darker first. Okay, I'm gonna have this color instead. I'm gonna pick this very dark color, that's good. Now I'm gonna pick this a lot darker first, is that would help. Okay, so this is what I would do before I looking at. It doesn't matter I use the charcoal or I use watercolor. This is the first thing. I take care of the global connection, the global relationship, as I always say, and create that looking at the big shape like that. This. Okay, on this I also make it darker, really dark. Now the face feel a little bit lighter already without doing much to it. And over here, I'm gonna pick the same color as the face, and you're gonna see, I'm gonna make it this color, like that. That's fine. So I'm gonna have it right over here, like that. This is the global relationship, like this. Now the next thing I'm gonna do, I need to light up. So I'm gonna light it up the face. So now I'm still not looking at the details yet. Because your global relationship is still not quite right. I want to get that shape back over here. Use the eraser in your case, use charcoal, is uses the needle eraser. I want to make sure I have this side is lighter. You see that? This side lighter, and the nose also the same value. Think about that. This nose is a little bit connect into here. This is not really too light, but is I want to develop after the global relationship. I want to develop the idea of their forms. I need to be getting into the three-dimensional first. Suggest that first, like that. And then over here, this is a triangle shape. Also make it a little bit lighter. So it's not that dark over there, like that. And then looking at the hand, like this. And then this, looking for the big shape. Okay, that's what we see, the big shape, like that. Right. Now I'm gonna come back to use the darker color. So I'm gonna come back here. So the dark color, you see that this is the shadow side. Now we're coming to the third step, and we're making sure we have the light side, shadow side separate it with the proper value. Now just make this a little bit darker so I can see this. The skull is turning over. That's very crucial, very important. And also, this doesn't need to be this big. And that's good. Actually, that's almost good. I'm going to use the a different value like that. I'm going to take this color. So I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Let's take a look and look at it here. This is the shape. I'm going to have it like that. Coming, looking at those bigger shape. Don't jump into the smaller area too early, too fast. So I think you do that too quickly, like that. Okay. And I'm going to make some dark color coming on the top over here. Subtract some of the shape, and the nose pretty close to that line. So I'm going to put some color for the hair over here first, like that. And subtract some of the line and the shape like this. Here you go. And look, take a look. And here they're supposed to be darker. So I'm gonna make it a little bit darker. Coming here and coming around. So see, just a different approach. Always start from bigger to smaller. I'm looking over here, and when you squint your eye, this is not that dark. So it's probably only this dark. Okay, so is even this red color. When you squint your eye, you can see it's not that dark. Okay, over here a little bit darker like that, and this area and need to be a little bit darker. Coming over here, instead nose area, and the finger a little bit lighter, coming all the way in here, like that. And the eye over here, you can see on this side is belong to the shadow side. So you need to make it a little bit darker, right? Like this. So group it together. This is also part of the catch the shadow, like that. So mask it with light, dark, and let me see. Can blend the color in here. Okay, here you go. Like that. Now the eye look three-dimensional by just use the light side, shadow side to enforce it. Okay, it's supposed to be easy. Okay, like that. Okay, and in this area, I also need to have a little light color over here showing the form. So looking for structure, how you're going to build a structure, and how you're going to try to create a form before you looking into the correction of the smaller details like that, right? Okay. So now you can get a better idea of between this and this, right? Better idea of the skin color and between the skin color and between the bigger connection, so you can find a better create a better suggestions. So you can find the vocabulary in the drawing and a little bit better. So this is my suggestion for you by looking at uh, your recent drawings. You kind of jump over the big contrast, the big relationship.